I understand. Wonderful. So we will begin with the welcome first. Can you put that? Wonderful. This is the agenda. I just quickly, before going to bed, jotted it down so that we can follow this and discuss things to make some steps possible to move forward. So first of all, welcome. I warmly welcome all of you to this wonderful meeting, and I want to give you just quickly, briefly, the background that I want to thank Sudeshji, who has interest in Portugal, and he does back and forth to Portugal, and this is where he met and mingled with Mr. Pedro, whose interest we are now going to learn more as far as the Indian culture, ancient culture and Sanskrit is concerned. So as soon as I got connected with Mr. Pedro, Pedro was very positive, quick to respond back with who he is and what his NGO is doing. And I thank Dr. Praveen for helping me to reach out to Dr. Bharatiben and Dr. Mihirbhai. And equally, same way, Dr. Mihirbhai and Bharatiben also came back to me very quickly and positively with their responses. And furthermore, my great friend and a co-founding trustee of our two foundations, one in India, one in the US for global health, Ashokji, who just you saw his handsome face, he helped us to put this meeting on the Zoom platform on behalf of our foundation's platform. And I want to thank both Dr. Narayanbhai Ojha and Dr. Pravinbhai showing their personal interest in supporting, promoting, and spreading the word for the title that we have, Ancient Indian Culture and Sanskrit Language. With that, I think what we will do, we will introduce each other and self-introduce just very briefly and quickly, and start with, we can start with, Sudeshji is not here, so we can go next person. Let's go to Dr. Praveen, please. Let's start with you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Praveen J. Patel. I'm a retired physician enjoying life here in Phoenix, Arizona. I have multiple interests. I have done plenty of things in my life, and I continue to do some things even at this time. Like to do philanthropy, medical teaching, and stuff like that. I enjoy golf, pickleball, ping pong, and camaraderie with Jitubhai and nice people, so I can learn things all my life.
Thank you. Can we go to Mr. Pedro, please?
Okay. Well, good morning to all of you. For me, it's good afternoon. I was born in London, in the United Kingdom. My parents were immigrants there. And then when I was almost 10 years old, I came to Portugal, and my life has been here ever since. I graduated in history. I done my PhD in the history of science, technology, and scientific culture, among many other things. I am an historian, of course. I am also a professor here at the University of Guarda, where I live. It's in the inland region, rural, mostly a rural area. And I also have a very wide and diverse field of interest. Some of it very close to what Dr. Pravin just shared with us, also tied to philanthropy. So I am the president of a non-profit organization that helps people that come from difficult backgrounds, that helps them succeed in life. It gives them the weapons they need to, what we call in Portugal, to catch the social elevator. That is, they were born on one floor, and we help them so that they can catch the elevator and go to a higher floor within their lifespan. And of course, for their children and for their grandchildren, the starting point will be of a better leverage in the future. I will, during my presentation, show how I came into contact with Sanskrit and Vedic culture and ancient Indian culture. But that, of course, is the moment to say that that is one of my main fields of interest at the current moment. I am a beginning level student of Sanskrit, and I am enrolled in a postdoctoral program related to the blue economy, but also in a master's program on Vedic literature. So at this point in my life, Sanskrit and the Vedic literature occupy a great deal of my schedule, because I have classes to learn the language, Sanskrit, but also classes and several assignments and projects related to the master's program.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pedro. Can we go to Dr. Mihirbhai, please?
Yeah, namaste to all. Myself, Dr. Mihirbhai from India, and I am a director of Eklavya Sanskrit Academy. So basically, Eklavya Sanskrit Academy, if you are looking for Sanskrit institutions, there are three types of institutions. First one, they are traditional patshalas. Vedas and Shastras are taught there. Second point is that government institutions like college, universities. But the requirement was that if somebody wants to learn Sanskrit, if Pravinbhai wants to learn Sanskrit, where he will go? He cannot attend any college or any patshala. So we need that platform, and that is the idea of Eklavya Sanskrit Academy. We are providing some sessions from senior KG to senior citizens. We have a very good practice with Sanskrit language classes. Our main program, that is Sanskrit spoken, Sanskrit language, that is we are saying Sanskrit Bhasha Shikshanam. And according to requirement of society, we are arranging some lectures about Sanskrit literature. To promote Sanskrit, we are taking some creative programs like Sanskrit Garba. Garba, it's a folk song of Gujarat. We translate several Garba Geets in Sanskrit, and we are performing for society. We used to celebrate Sangitotsav, Sanskrit Sangitotsav, that is musical concert of Sanskrit. And nowadays we are practicing about Sanskrit Literature Festival. These are the program we are trying to promote through this program, but we are trying to arrange systematic Sanskrit classes. Because if somebody wants to learn Sanskrit, there are many institutions, they give a platform, but that will be very basic. If somebody asks what is next, then they haven't answered. So what we tried, we have a can I share my slide? Jitubhai,
Yes.
can you give me a sharing option?
Yeah, you can share, sir. Yes.
Yes, definitely. But you will get a chance again. This is just the
To share, okay.
self-introduction. You will get a chance to explain about more details. Yes.
Okay. So basic idea of our institution is to promote Sanskrit language. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So can we go to Dr. Bharatiben, please?
I'm Bharti Patel, Dr. Bharti Patel, residing in the United States of America for last 45 years. And I'm an obstetrician gynecologist and anesthesiologist. And I always had a passion for learning Sanskrit, but with my busy schedule and work, and I could not learn Sanskrit. But when after almost 39 years of practice, I decided to quit. I retired, and then I wanted to pursue my passion, that was learning Sanskrit. So I went to India and in 2020, and I stayed there for 8 months. And I learned Sanskrit from Dr. Dr. Mihirbhai Upadhyay, who was my guru and mentor. And I learned Sanskrit from him at Eklavya Sanskrit Academy. But my passion did not end there. And so I decided I wanted to learn more, and I did MA in Sanskrit from Gujarat University. And now I'm pursuing a PhD degree in philosophy at Somnath Sanskrit University. So, I mean, he said that Dr. Upadhyay said that his mission is to spread and promote and propagate Sanskrit language in general. And so basically it is my introduction. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bharatiben. Let's go to Dr. Narayan Ojha, please.
Good morning, everybody, and namaste. Narayan Ojha. I've been here in this country for the last 60 plus years, you too. I came here and did my PhD in chemistry, worked for about 30, 40 years. And all along my life, I have been in Sanskrit learning as a student, of course. And last 25, 30 years before I retired, I did a lot of marriages and rituals in this country. I started educating people in those aspects along with my training of science and make them understand the rituals and why not. But I have been a lifelong student of Sanskrit and Gita particularly, because I'm sure a lot of people have been hearing Gita these days all along, and I listen to a lot of lectures in India, especially in Surat. There is a SRK Foundation. They have a lot of speakers who come there and talk about various chapters. So it's an educational system. Then I have here for the last 4 years, one of the retired cardiologists who has been conducting various sessions for the last 4 years, and I'm learning that and listening to him for the last 4 years, and they have been very, very educational. And I'm glad to hear that there is a lot of interest worldwide, and it should be, because Sanskrit is, just yesterday, I was listening to Mr. Neil Oak, who has done a lot of research in Ramayana, Mahabharata, and he was giving a talk about the origins and all things like that, the dates and whatnot. Anyway, the point is, I have been a student all along, and if I can be of help, I'll be very happy to do so. And a lot of young people who have learned, I'm not doing these things anymore for the last 15, 20 years, but I did for last 20, prior to that, about 25, 30 years. And I retired in 2005, and I've been lucky to work with Dr. Jitubhai and seniors affairs all along. And we've been together for all this time. And I'm very, very happy that I'm part of this association right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Narayan Bhai. You are our mentor. You have been teaching Gita to so many of our senior members, and that is really a loud applauding to you. A great hat. Let's go to Ashokji, please.
Thank you, Jitubhai, and namaskar, and good morning to you all, and good afternoon to Dr. Pedro, and good evening to Dr. Upadhyay. I'm Ashok Garlapati, currently speaking to you from Kuwait. I'm working in Kuwait with the Kuwait Oil Company as a health safety environment consultant. From last 20 years, I'm here. And my passion is professional volunteering. And that means I support all the young professionals, extend the mentoring, and actively involved with the ASSP, which is American Society of Safety Professionals. And I'm the current president of the Board of Certified Safety Professionals in US. That's also voluntary activity. And I work hand in hand with Jitubhai from last many years. We were instrumental in establishing so many activities around the world, which we'll be talking. And I am the co-founder along with the Jitubhai of our foundation, which is called J&AGHF Bharat HSC Foundation and J&AGHF Global HSC Foundation. Back to you, Jitubhai.
Thank you, Ashokji. And just to add one more feather on Ashokji's crown, he is the current president of Board of Certified Health, Safety and Environment Professional Organization, which is the largest in the world. And he's not United States citizen nor resident, and yet he has been elected by the people around the world to hold this honor. So we are very proud of you, Ashokji. Thank you. Last but not least, my turn. I'm too old to say anything about myself, but briefly, quickly, I did my education after Indian, went to UK, where I did my post-graduation, and thereafter worked in UK industries for 13 years and 21 years in the oil industries in the Middle East. And last 22 years, I'm in the United States, man without portfolio, but working more hours than gainfully once upon a time, 22 years ago, I was doing, and it is extremely rewarding. Like we say, giving back to the society, community, nothing can beat that. So with that, I think let's go to the next topic.
Jitubhai,
yes.
Jitubhai, we have another one member, Dr. Ami. She's a member of Eklavya Sanskrit Academy.
Oh, yes.
Can you give me your introduction, Ami?
Sorry,
unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Like I said.
Yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead, ma'am. Yeah.
Dr. Ami, please welcome to you and just introduce yourself, please.
Thank you. Dhanyavadaha, namaste, and pranam to all. Myself, Dr. Ami. I'm working as a lecturer in Government of Gujarat Education Department, and I'm also working as a faculty member of Eklavya Sanskrit Academy. Dhanyavadaha.
Thank you, Dr. Ami. Now, with that, I think, can I request Mr. Pedro to give a brief about Sanjeevani and your interest with the mission that you have in mind, not only locally in Portugal, but globally.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Jitendra. Can you see the screen well?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll start by myself and how this led
Pedro,
up to...
Can you put on the slideshow, please?
I don't know then if it will let me share them all.
Yeah, just to go down on the right side.
Okay.
Yeah. Got it. Yes. Perfect.
Which slide are you seeing? Is it the one that says about me?
Yes. About me. Yeah.
Okay, so as I said previously, I was born and raised in London to Portuguese immigrant parents. I'm 43 years old at this moment. I moved to Guarda, where I currently live. It's a very small city in Portugal's rural inland. It has around 25,000 inhabitants, so it's a very small city. I had my graduate degree in history in 2008, then my PhD in the history of science, technology, and scientific culture in 2015, both at the University of Coimbra. This is Portugal's most oldest university. I was a member of the Sinti Council of Guarda for 2 years, not that long ago. And I am also the president of a non-profit organization called Associação Guarda 1056. And it's specialized in the education and training programs that help people elevate their scholarship levels. What happened in Portugal was during the dictatorship, it was the state policy that not all citizens could pursue their studies. So studying was a privilege for certain elements of society that would then have a more important role. What happened was that a lot of people were left behind, and now they want to get employed, they want to get better salaries, and they can't because they don't even have mandatory education. So what we do, together with government institutions and private institutions, is we offer the people in this situation a second opportunity. So long-term unemployed adults, members of vulnerable social groups, including ethnic minorities, but also young people that due to several circumstances, some drug-related, game-related, alcohol-related, violence-related problems, dropped out of school earlier. So what do? We give them a second chance so that they can complete mandatory education. So it has other activities like sports and culture and so forth, but the main activity of our non-profit is this activity here. So here you have, just 1 second, agora não posso falar, estou numa, pode. Sorry. This is a picture of Europe. And as you can see, Guarda is here in Portugal, near the border with Spain. And this is a picture of one of our classes at our non-profit. So you can see the trainer here, and then the students that are pursuing their studies. Well, just in February, I began a 3-year postdoctoral program, also at the University of Coimbra, departing from history, leveraging advanced digital technologies for innovation, entrepreneurship, and sustainability in the blue economy within the European Atlantic area. I am a professor here at my university, Instituto Politécnico de Guarda, where I am also an innovation manager. It was as an innovation manager in that role that I met our dear friend Sudeshji in August last year. I am also regularly invited to give lectures to PhD and master's degrees at the University of Coimbra. The most recent lecture that I gave was to a PhD course on contemporary history in March, and it was titled Discovery or Renaissance, Science and Ideology at the Crossroads of the West's Fascination for Sanskrit and Vedic Culture during the 18th and the 19th centuries. So to our left is my university here in Guarda. Sudeshji has been here a couple of times. And to the right is the first slide of the presentation that I done on the 18th of March. I have reasons to believe it was probably the first time that such a topic was addressed in 800 and something old university here in Portugal. So my interest for Sanskrit and ancient Indian culture began in 2008. I can remember the precise day and the moment while I was working on an assignment on a discipline called the history of contemporary history of the modern era. So I was reading a book and I came across a chapter that was called Indo-Mania. And I was just overwhelmed because I had never learned this, not at school, not through any other complementary reading that I'd done. And I was just overwhelmed to know that Sanskrit and ancient Indian culture had provoked such a fascination across several of Europe's most distinguished academic and cultural circles during the 18th, 19th, and early 20th century. So for a long time, I had to pursue my education and to kick off my work. And also, as all of us, we all have our social and our personal life. But by 2023, I decided that I would not postpone this any longer. So I done a search online, and I found a master's program in Vedic literature by Bishma School of Indian Knowledge Systems, and I enrolled in this program. I'm currently still at the first year. It's a 2-year course. In the following month, as I would need to know the minimum requirements of Sanskrit, I was also able to make contact with one of the professors of the course, and I started to receive private lectures with an Indian teacher on Sanskrit. So I am learning Sanskrit at this moment. Unfortunately, I had a surgery and I had to interrupt my lectures, but I will be resuming them next Monday, and hopefully I can take them all followed up with no more interruptions. So it's become part of my life. I have Sanskrit classes in the early morning, and then by the afternoon, I have the classes of the master's degree. So Sanskrit and Vedic literature, of course, a part of the tapestry that is ancient Indian culture, are now a part of my life, and I'm glad that that's the case. So, like many people around the world, past and present, both Sanskrit and ancient Indian culture have had a very positive impact on my life. I read the Bhagavad Gita in April this year, and of course it is a very profound reading that will stay with us for the rest of our life here on this planet, because some of the thoughts that are contained in that book will always lead us to more and more reflection, and we feel the need to go back and to read certain parts of the book to gain a better understanding as life confronts us with different situations. So it's an ever-inspiring fountain of knowledge that we have there. This among, of course, the Vedas and the epics in general, and of course, being in the West, the Upanishads. So due to that importance that and the influence, the positive influence that Sanskrit and ancient Indian culture had on my life, I was immediately aware that it was important to do something to help preserve and promote Sanskrit and ancient Indian culture. I believe that the best way to preserve something is to use it when we speak of culture. So it's like a language. The best way to preserve a language is to use it. So the more you use it, the more preserved it gets. It looks like a paradox, because if we're speaking of something material, the more you use it, the more wasted it will get. In terms of immaterial things like a language and culture, it is the other way around. So the more you use it, the more users there are, and the higher the intensity that they use the language and study the culture, the better preserved it will be. I'm also aware that I am a privileged inhabitant of this planet, because for many people this would have been impossible. First of all, my classes are in English language, so not everyone has a fluency in English that would allow them to learn another language through English. On the other hand, these classes, of course, have to be paid for, and you have to have the technological means to be able to attend the classes, because they are online. So unfortunately, many people across the globe do not yet meet this criteria. So Sanjeevani appears as an answer to these challenges. So for the time being, Sanjeevani is an idea that's transforming itself into a project. Possibly it gained the form of an NGO, but it can, of course, be run within my own NGO, the one that I am president. So this will have to be decided in the near future, and it will be dedicated to promote the study of Sanskrit and ancient Indian culture within the Portuguese-speaking world. So this is important that there is a clearly defined area for the implementation of this project. So the Portuguese-speaking world includes, of course, Portugal and all of its former colonies that are now independent countries or autonomous regions, such as Macau, where Portuguese is the primary language. So Angola, Brazil, Cape Verde, Timor, Guinea-Bissau, Macau that I've mentioned, Mozambique, Portugal's been mentioned, and São Tomé and Príncipe. In total, the Portuguese-speaking world encompasses over 230 million people. This number will increase significantly if we consider the dozens of Portuguese-speaking populations within several expatriate communities that are scattered across all of the globe. So These are just the countries that have Portuguese as their official language. Of course, if you go to Canada or the US, to France, to Luxembourg, to the UK, to Switzerland, to Germany, you will find thriving Portuguese communities. I believe that in Luxembourg, between 15 and 20% of the total population belong to the Portuguese community or are of Portuguese descent. So the availability of Sanskrit and ancient Indian culture courses, both in person and online, and study materials, including digital content, in Portuguese is very, very limited, even within academic institutions. So Sanskrit and ancient Indian knowledge are largely unfamiliar in the Portuguese-speaking world. The mission of Sanjeevani is precisely to start addressing this issue. In doing so, as I've mentioned, it will contribute to the preservation of both Sanskrit and ancient Indian culture, while also leveraging cultural exchange to create and strengthen ties between different communities. I have divided the project into implementation phases. Of course, they are always open to discussion and to change. During phase one, this is what is foreseen. We would map all the existing online Sanskrit and ancient Indian courses that are taught in Portuguese and in English that are suitable for Portuguese-speaking world students. So probably there are some people in Portugal that do speak English, and of course we shouldn't rule this possibility out. We will try to not exclude that is the general principle. So for an early phase, if we have people that reside in the Portuguese-speaking world that are fluent in English, then we will promote the existing courses so that they can enroll and learn Sanskrit through English teacher and English content. So during this first phase, we will also seek to create our network, that is, establish protocols with relevant stakeholders, and also adhere to already existing and thriving networks that may support our endeavor. During phase two, we will publicize the existing courses that have been mapped in phase one, together with the study materials, and try to facilitate the access of residents in Portuguese-speaking world countries. Here we will start an important collaboration with cultural and academic organizations, as well as with key national and regional entities, such as governmental bodies, NGOs, training companies, and public and private schools. I can go into this in more detail if it is required. So together with the regular communication that we will be doing on our specifically created social media channels, we will also organize several events to raise awareness and to foster the engagement of more people, including workshops, info sessions, and debates. During the phase three, we will hopefully be able to offer the courses in Portuguese on our own e-learning platform, and also being these courses also supported by study materials and digital content in Portuguese. So this is a great milestone of the project. It's situated at half of the journey because it has 5 phases, but this will be a great achievement. From here on, the project will take a different course. We will, of course, proceed with the efforts in the domains of communication and information. This is an important chapter that is to, and it has to do mostly with the European context, but that countries such as Brazil and also African countries that were colonies of Portugal, that they follow. So if people want to learn, but some people don't want just to learn, they want to learn and they want a certificate. They want them their learning, their experience, their accomplishment to be certified by a public or a private institution. So of course they can legitimately make use of their accomplishment in their future life. So we will take the events to another level here and seek to participate with the academic institutions in more academic natured events like conferences, publications, and scientific meetings. The fifth phase, of course, would be the best proof that our project would have been successful would be if Sanjeevani could prepare itself to inspire a similar model for the Spanish-speaking world and the French-speaking world too. Of course, this would give Sanskrit and ancient Indian culture a very widespread global covering. So we can only hope that things go well and that then we can, like J&AGHF was saying, that we can then also help others to pursue similar endeavors to us. Also, another point, just to have things cleared up, we will be studying ancient Indian religion, Hinduism, of course, but probably also Buddhism and Jainism, that also are languages that have their foundations in Sanskrit. And we will study them from an academic point of view. So there is here no religious motivation, orientation, or agenda. This might happen because people, as you know, yoga and Buddhism are highly popular in the West. For example, here in Portugal, they are both very popular. And this is just to avoid that people may be confused and may look us up looking for something different than that they wish to pursue. Or on the other hand, that someone that is genuinely looking just for the academic side to learning this ancient language and to learning more about the Vedas and ancient Indian culture in general, may be rest assured that we are only tackling these issues within Sanjeevani from an academic point of view. So thank you very much. I hope I didn't take that long, and I am, of course, at your disposal for any questions that you may have or commentaries.
Thank you, Dr. Pedro. I think Jitubhai, are you there? So we will take...
I'm muted, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Pedro, before we go to the questions, I just want to say very quickly, briefly, what an impressive, brief, concise, but very precise scope you have illustrated to all of us on this call. I was really impressed very much, even though I do not understand too many things in linguistic wise or even ancient history wise. But I tell you that the scope you pictured with the Portuguese speaking, which is 230 million potential for the approach or the outreach, which my friend Ashok always used the right word, outreach to these people, to educate in the right thing for Indian culture, ancient culture, as well as Sanskrit. And you said in one of the points saying that you were financially okay and otherwise okay. You put your money to good use for preserving not only Sanskrit language, but also Indian ancient culture. Hats up to you. And I see that your vision to move from Portuguese speaking to Spanish and French, I think Dr. Mihirbhai's mission and goal, I'm sure between you two can make it prevail and happen for this during my maybe next 4 years or 5 years life, and I would be happy to go to the Lord's place thereafter. I understand. Let us go to Dr. Mihirbhai and let him explain about the academy he's heading as a director. He's a founder and also promoter, not only in Gujarat but worldwide, because this is where we met him. He came to the United States, different places in the city, worked with Dr. Bharatiben, who is his PhD student, and also her husband, Dr. Vijaybhai and Pravinbhai. And I am very proud to have him back again, at least virtually, and we can be part of this united. So Dr. Mihirbhai, please talk about Eklavya Sanskrit Academy.
Thank you, Jitubhai. So earlier I mentioned that we are working for Sanskrit language. So our main program to teach everyone Sanskrit, because if you ask about literature, if you know certain language, you can definitely explore that literature. So what we are doing, we have a 4-level Sanskrit program, language classes that we are doing. Prathamastar, Dvitiyastar, Trutiyastar, and Chaturthar. There are 4 levels. So in 4 level, we are teaching as a fundamental and communicative Sanskrit language. Then we are trying to proceed about traditional grammar, that is Paniniya grammar. So in this 4 level, we are trying to teach Sanskrit. So suppose if you clear a 2nd or 3rd level, you can able to understand Srimad Bhagavad Gita without translation, almost 70%. This is the content part of level 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we have a teachers training program also, because we need some good teachers. Basically, in teaching methodology, there are 2 main methodology to teach Sanskrit. One is grammar translation method, that is old British method, and second one is direct method. So we are following the second method, direct method. So we try to concentrate on language first, then grammar. So we need some good teachers. That's why we introduced Diploma in Sanskrit teaching program. This is special course for those who wants to teach Sanskrit. So now we have a very good group of teachers. They can able to teach Sanskrit language. Now we have different type of chapters. If somebody wants to learn Stotra, so we have a Stotra class. If somebody wants to learn Vedas, so we have a Ved classes also. Then many times we saw the small sentence framing portion will clear, but if somebody wants to learn fluent Sanskrit, if somebody wants to speak fluent Sanskrit, then we have another one good program, Sanskrit Dhara Pravaha. So if somebody wants to speak fluently, then we have certain concepts we are trying to manage as a practical way, and we teach them Dhara Pravaha Sanskrita. Then this is something technical. Chanda Shastra is also there. So we have a Chanda Parichay classes. We have a Sandhi classes, that is the part of Sanskrit grammar. And earlier I said that we have a Sanskrit Sahitya Rasaswad lectures. So suppose somebody started to learn Sanskrit and he or she wants to know about Abhignan Shakuntalam, that is Kalidasa's world famous book. So in that class, in particular class, we are not able to explain anything, but for them, we are introducing Sanskrit Sahitya Rasaswad. So in the simple way, we are trying to convey that short message of that particular granth. So this is introductory portion. Then we have a Sanskrit Garba, that is the big, huge, I have to say, huge program. More than 3,000, 4,000 Sanskrit lovers come together for Sanskrit Garba. Then this is Sanskrit Sangitotsav, musical concert of Sanskrit. We are taking stotras and Sanskrit Geet songs are in this program. Then we have a Sanskrit Literature Festival. The concept of Literature Festival is to promote some different type of literature in Sanskrit, because we have a Vedanta, Kavya Shastra, Mimamsa Shastra, everything is there. But if somebody wants to introduce that portion, we need a small small lectures or small introductory part. So we are trying to arrange some sessions and practical classes in this particular Sanskrit Literature Festival. So this is the showcase about Sanskrit literature and art and culture. This is the drama. We had done Sanskrit Yatra. Of course, Eklavya Sanskrit Academy, with the help of Bharatiben and Vijaybai, last year we visited several places. This Jitubhai is there. This year we are going to introduce Eklavya Sanskrit Academy America chapter. I am going to visit at August, 1st August to 28th August. We have 12 lectures and 3 classes are there. So generally there are Indians, those who wants to learn Sanskrit, we are trying to promote there, but language and stotra and other things. Now, interesting part is that we are running some sessions for small kids. This is value education through Sanskrit, Bal Sanskrit Varga. Here, senior KG to class 8 students are coming for a Sanskrit classes. So we have a very good team and setup. So these are things. So particularly, I can say we have a good structure to teach Sanskrit for everyone. We have a good team, and I can say I'm definitely I will try to help about Sanskrit language learning portion. Yeah, that's it.
Jitubhai, we are on the mute.
Yes. Thank you, Mihirbhai. That was very educational to me also. We met, we heard your lecture. That was superb. It's still ringing in our minds and soul. But now today, you educated what really the academy is doing and how systematically you are educating people of different interests. And you have even structured not only just for Indian origin or Indians, but also for non-Indian speaking people also. So that is where Mr. Pedro would be, I'm sure, interested to pick you up and work with you to help each other to achieve the common goals of preservation of our mother language, Sanskrit, and also along with it, the Indian ancient culture. Thank you so much. We can open for discussion if Dr. Narayanbhai or Pravinbhai or Dr. Amy or Dr. Bharatiben would like to chip in. Please come along and make your comments or suggestion to make the ball rolling.
I have just comment that
yeah, go ahead.
Dr. Mihirbhai is an excellent teacher because I studied Sanskrit under him for 8 months. And not only that, he has that passion, to promoting and propagating Sanskrit. So if you, in the first phase, like you also want to have teachers who can learn Sanskrit, and then in the Portuguese speaking community, they can teach Sanskrit. So I think Dr. Mihirbhai's Eklavya Sanskrit Academy will be an excellent platform to collaborate online, because he's teaching all over the world. Like in America, he has classes in Canada, in London, Australia, so everywhere. So that can be very good to collaborate with the Eklavya Sanskrit Academy. And I have a personal experience. I have worked with him, so I know how it goes.
That was a good comment you made, and good suggestion also, that Mr. Pedro can work with the academy, Eklavya, and then organize, schedule in a systematic way and move forward. Anybody else? Dr. Narayanbhai, would you like to say anything?
Narayanbhai,
I think Narayanbhai has left the meeting.
He wanted to leave 45 minutes. He had another commitment also. He's a volunteer. Pravinbhai, how about you?
Well, I pretty much echo Dr. Bharati Patel's sentiment.
Yeah.
As to Mihirbhai, definitely would be an asset with his experience of teaching globally Sanskrit from step 1 to step 4 in every different ways. I have been his student for 3 months, level 1, and it had been a great experience. And I believe, he can definitely help with this mission move forward globally, even in Portuguese world, like Mr. Pedro has taken to his mission.
Ashokji, can you very briefly mention about J&A mission and activities, so that Mr. Pedro, who has expressed interest to work with our foundation and take it forward, so can you do that for us, please?
Thank you, Jit sir. Before I do that, I have one information to Dr. Pedro. I have a friend in Brazil, in Curitiba, by name Itamar. I met him in 2000 during our training program in Japan. He's so much passionate about yoga, and we are still connected from last 20 years. He loves Indian culture. He does the yoga every day, and he was recently telling me that I want to learn Sanskrit. So I will connect with you to him so that you have a good connection database in Brazil as well. So that's one of the just input for you. And
connect both, Ashok, connect both Mr. Pedro as well as Dr. Mihir and Dr. Bharti.
Exactly, sure. Yeah. So yes, Jitu Sahab, I think I know we have been talking today about the Sanskrit and Indian ancient culture. And of course, our foundations are something little different, but we can always collaborate like we are collaborating today. So Dr. Pedro and Dr. Bharati and Dr. Mihir and Dr. Rami, our Dr. Pravinbhai knows very well about our foundation, but I just want to give a brief introduction or background about our mission and activities. And myself and Mr. Jitu Saab are the founding trustees of these two foundations, which is J&A Bharat HSC Foundation. HSC stands for Health, Safety and Environment, and the J&A Global HSC Foundation. And this is, as I was telling, that we have been collaborating for many years. And we promoted ASSP, which is American Society of Safety Professionals, as well as BCSP. And we supported the many health, safety, environment professionals because we ourselves, Mr. Jitu, as well as myself, are the health, safety, environment professionals. We wanted to give it back to the community because we have learned a lot and we have gained a lot in this profession. We wanted to give it back. And these are the little blue flags where we have really made a significant progress or significant contributions to the health, safety, and environment community. And we wanted to do much more for India because India is, on the left side, you see the graph where India is standing on the highest among all countries in the industrial accidents, because we need to protect the people. We need to ensure that the workers are going safely on everyday basis. So we started that idea and we started this foundation in the year March 2022, the peak time of the COVID. and it was launched virtually. And our objectives are very simple. And again, it is not a membership organization. There are so many organizations in the safety field which are the member oriented. We are purely charity oriented organization to support the HSC professionals and HSC profession itself. And we have a mission, vision, and objectives. Our mission and vision and objectives are very simple: to support the HSC profession and HSC professionals. We collaborate with the similar organizations in advancing the occupational safety and health, as well as to inspire the leaders. And we'll also provide education and developmental opportunities. And we also recognize individuals who are really doing great. We collaborate with the universities. We also have MOUs with the similar organizations having the similar objectives. And our foundation is registered in India, Bharat one, and a global one is registered in Arizona under the relevant local regulations. And we have many grants in place. We have the professional development grant. We have a industrial accident victim family support grant, because in India there are so many informal sectors are there. Once the incident, any accident happens, any worker dies, there is a very least least support is given to their family. So we introduced this particular program. And Dr. Dhruti Thakkar from New Jersey, she is the one who supported in patronizing our particular program. Yeah, Keval Shanti program, her grandparents' name, mainly to support the girl students in India who are pursuing the health, safety, environment. So we are promoting this particular scholarship program through our foundation, and we recognize 4 students. This is another program. It is from the DL Shah Trust, Mumbai in India. So we recognize the individuals. And we also do a lot of first aid CPR training programs for the students as well as the community. And I'm sure Dr. Pravin Patel is with us today, and he has been supporting all our initiatives from the beginning, from last many years. And he also supported this particular program, which is called the J&AGHF Bharat HSC Foundation, Dr. Pravin Patel and Ms. Smita Patel scholarship program, which we launched almost 15 days back. So thank you, Dr. Pravin ji, for supporting through this particular program. This is again to support the students who are pursuing the healthcare academic programs. So we launched this program, and 2024 we will be announcing this scholarship program shortly, and basically to support the people. We also, as I was telling, that we collaborate with the people who are supporting the students. This is Dr. J&AGHF Clark. She also introduced some PhD program for the artificial intelligence. Through our foundation, we are propagating this particular program, and we have websites in place, J&AGHF Bharat HSC Foundation and J&AGHF Global HSC Foundation. And we have a governing body, and Dr. Pravin Patel and Dr. Ojha is also part of our governing body. We have the functional committee chairs. And yeah, this is continuously going on. Again, after quite some time after introducing the Bharat Foundation, we felt that the support on the global scale is required. So we we inaugurated the Global HSC Foundation on November 2022. And as part of our activities, we do monthly outreach and knowledge transfer sessions. We've done for 29 outreach sessions, and next one is scheduled on 24th July. So we are very active in propagating our HSC knowledge, and we have founding donors as well. And yeah, so it's all contributory, individual, voluntary contributions. And we have a knowledge support as well as several outreach sessions. We do it. These are all the voluntary subject matter experts who are coming and talking to the students using our platform. And we have the WhatsApp group with 460 plus individuals supporting each and every one on the different topics related to health, safety, environment on the round-the-clock basis. So this is what our foundation, we have an engagement with the MOUs with the similar organizations, and yeah, that's going on. We have a MOU with the Invo Systems in Singapore. We have a Center for HSC in Andhra Pradesh, and this is HSC Champ. We have the MOU, and we do also do the global quizzes on the monthly basis or quarterly basis. and our main aim is to give it back to the community. So this is what we do through our foundations, and this is only the 2 years old foundation. We are just taking the baby steps, and again, we just want to introduce to you our foundation, how we can collaborate. It's about, we have so many advocates in our foundation just to talk about our foundation, tell the people about our foundation. So something like that we have with us. So with that, I just give it back to Jitu Saab to continue the meeting.
Thank you, Ashokji. That was wonderful. Very nicely presented the activities and the mission of our two foundations. I just want to add one thing, that all those who are still with us on this call, they saw that classroom as well as hands-on CPR and first aid teaching by qualified, recognized, well-known physicians who are doing this, along with the dean, retired dean and professor of NICMAR in Hyderabad University. This was initiated based on the preventable death of the former president, Dr. APJ Kalam. And when he died, and when we learned the situation under which he died, I took a plane, went to Hyderabad, met with the CEO of Apollo Hospitals, and spent 2 days with them and encouraging them. Making money is a good thing, but also serving community is a more important thing. That's where you will make more money. And this is where we started as an example, setting an example to have at least one person in a family who is qualified, certified for CPR as well as any other first aid requirement. I just thought I'd share with you that this is the foundation, what we are doing to give back to the community. Can I request Dr. Amy if she would like to say and share anything of her interest, please.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
So in Sanskrit, there is one line that is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Today in this meeting, I felt this line, Vasudha Eva Kutumbakam. From my side, being a faculty of Eklavya Sanskrit Academy, I'm very much positive, and let's see towards. So ancient Indian culture will get a benefit of other cultures too, and other cultures of the world, they will get the richness of Indian culture. So we are very positive. Thank you very much. And I feel very good being a part of this meeting. Thank you very much.
Yes,
Mary, you made the you spread the fragrance of jasmine here. Thank you.
I want to add one point, Jitubhai.
Yeah,
nowadays, Indian government first time they decided to introduce Bhagavad Gita in curriculum, and Dr. Rami, she is the part of that particular project. She is the coordinator of Bhagavad Gita in Gujarat. In Gujarat government already launched that book from 6th standard.
That's heart lifting. Very, very good. Yes. When you talked about Bhagavad Gita, as I mentioned very quickly, briefly, I spent 21 years as a resident and supporting of Middle Eastern oil and gas operations. And I still, after retirement in 2001, I still go back and forth almost like 65 trips to Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, where Ashokji is and all that. Now Bhagavad Gita has been adapted, accepted by many Muslim nations in the Middle East. And they believe that it has so much to teach. It's not just a religion, it is a science, Vedic science it is teaching, and it is accepted. Last time when I was in Bahrain, February just gone, I met with the two princes. One of them, everybody in the world knows, Prince Muhammad. And he was talking so much about our Bhagavad Gita and our culture, our languages. So while the world accusing him for doing this, that, and whatever, he has some positive things in his mind to bring it in Saudi Arabia. And once Saudi Arabia adapts, the rest of the Muslim country follows, you know. So point here is you are doing the right thing. I'm too old, but I still feel happy that whenever people like Mr. Pedro, Dr. Mihirbhai, Bharatiben, you, Dr. Amy, Pravinbhai, all those people are doing something for benefit of our culture, ancient culture, Vedic science, and our mother language, which was Sanskrit, which we neglected and did not pursue it. But now is the time to revive and do whatever we possibly can. And with that, I would now request Mr. Pedro give you 2 minutes to conclude, and thereafter, Dr. Mihirbhai, please.
Okay, thank you very much. I agree with everything you said, except that you're too old. Purana. I believe it's Purana in Sanskrit. I'm an early learner, but I think it's Purana, old, isn't it? So that's the only incorrectness in your whole speech. Well, I will take off where when you spoke of the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita and the ancient Indian knowledge and Sanskrit in general in the West. The truth is this. I work at a university, and when I speak to my colleagues, because they're curious, they want to know, why are you learning this? Why are you all of a sudden, why? I had a friend of mine that's a lawyer. He's the big player of the lawyers here in Guardian. He said, why didn't you learn Chinese or something, or Hindi? Because you could use that. So you'd have a practical use. And I said, look, I do use it, because not everything that goes on in our existence is outside us. There are a lot of things that go on inside us, and they're extremely important for us to have a very happy and balanced and peaceful life. And the truth is, even he is interested now, especially on words that have a common root, like Agni for ignition, or Mata for mother. So those kind of I was trying to remember one of the animals, but it's just I'll get back to it. I'll get back to it. And so when you spark a little interest, it's like when you're just unveiling a bit of the curtain, and they can see how interesting, how insightful it is for one to learn Sanskrit and to learn about ancient Indian culture. Many people will follow through. For example, the Gita, it was a topic for much conversation in the Western world, especially in Europe, when Rishi Sunak was inducted as prime minister, because he did not do his oath on top of the Bible, because he's Hindu. So he done it on top of the Bhagavad Gita. So people were asking, what is the Bhagavad Gita? So that's the first question that you have to spark. People say, well, what is it? Why is it so, how important is it that a future prime minister would indicate that the book to swear an oath on? And of course, also the movie on Oppenheimer, him being a Sanskrit student himself, and the Bhagavad Gita having such an importance with him. I'll just give you a particular case. When I want to get someone interested in Sanskrit and ancient Indian culture, I just have to mention one name. He is just this big name of Western philosophy, that is Arthur Schopenhauer. Schopenhauer said that the comfort of his life, or the comfort of all of his existence, were the Upanishads. So he was a pessimist. He thought that life wasn't even worth living. But he did say, well, it was worth it because of the Upanishads. They made it worthwhile, or else life wouldn't have been worthwhile. And when people hear this, they say, well, you know, they just can't stay still. They have to go and, I'm not saying they're going to read all of the Upanishads, but at least they're going to be interested in knowing what the Upanishads are. And they will know in which language the Upanishads were written. There is, of course, Sanskrit. So one point of Dr. Mihir, congratulations for such a fabulous work. But there's a point there that is just fundamental, and I think you will all understand it. For example, I have a niece, she's 9 years old, and she's trying to learn Sanskrit, but I can't teach her because I'm learning myself. So she does the simple exercises. She writes the consonants and the vowels, and she does the so she follows through. But look at this. I asked my teacher, I said, can you teach her? And she said, well, I don't know Portuguese. If she doesn't know English, I can't. So see, as an uncle, I am willing to pay for her apprenticeship. The teacher is willing to teach her. She is more than willing to learn, but we can't because of the language barrier. So this means that my niece, that is going to turn 10 in January, will only be able to learn Sanskrit when she is around 14 and 15, when she's mastered English language to such a level that she can then learn another language through English. And so this is one of the important barriers that has to be overcome, because when you're 9, 10, 11, 12, you can take on the world when you're interested and you're motivated on something. But I'm very frightened that my niece may get to 15, 16 years old, and probably her interests have shifted elsewhere, and she no longer wants to learn Sanskrit. So that's just a great case in point when Dr. Mihir spoke of teaching the infants Sanskrit from such an early age. Then I would like to point to the following. Portugal, being part of the European Union, has access to a lot of public funding. There are a lot of calls opening where my NGO can, alone or together with other institutions from the European Union, they can apply to those funds. And this is a type of topic that can fall into cultural studies, the funding of cultural and linguistic studies. So, of course, that can be a very valuable help for the future. Regardlessly of the funding, if a proposal is approved, then that is a double victory. It's not only that the project is being funding, it's because the European Union at its highest level is agreeing that this is important enough to receive public funding from the European Commission. And so that is a milestone. When we get to a point where even the European Union believes that the teachings of ancient Indian culture and Sanskrit itself being a language that has so many affinities with most of the European language, to not say all of them, past and present, some have gone, like Latin, that they may see fit to fund such a project. So to wrap it up, I want to thank you all for this incredible meeting. Of course, I would like to say that the two foundations have taken baby steps, but they are giant baby steps, of course, very big steps. And I am looking forward to collaborating with you in the future, not just with Sanjeevani, the project, but in anything that can help preserve and propagate Sanskrit and ancient Indian culture, and ultimately to make this world a better place. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pedro. Can we ask Dr. Mihir to summarize his and see if this will be a good, beneficial move to work with Mr. Pedro's NGO?
And definitely, see, Mr. Pedro, that language barriers, that is the big challenge for us. In India, even we are facing some problem. So if somebody knows Devanagari, then it will be easy for them to learn Sanskrit. But we have some students from foreign, they are picking up slowly, but they are doing good. So we need some passion. And second point is that we are ready to serve particular about your project. We have a 1-point agenda. We have all set up about language learning portion. We had done lots of work about that. In that area, we can definitely help you. You just give your expectation points. We'll try to make comfortable with that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mihir. Finally, is there anybody who would like to have a final word, please? If not, I will have.
Please go ahead.
I think that it was a good getting to know each other meeting. We learned quite a lot already in the best interest of Indian ancient culture as well as Sanskrit language. And I think now the ice is broken, and I would humbly request the three organizations, including this Health Safety Environment Foundation, which can help coordinate or even any other way to pursue this matter further by exchanging and communicating with each other. Dr. Mihir and his staff, Mr. Pedro and his staff can communicate with each other to exchange information, to exchange systems, education standards, whatever way it can be promoted. We should continue this slowly but surely in a positive manner. And Ashokji and myself, from our foundation viewpoint, if we can be of value to do anything and provide any platform like today, including even rubbing shoulders to help young students achieve their dreams, like you just heard from Ashokji, we will be delighted, because that is our also mission, to help children, youth, not only just in India, but also globally, to achieve their dream, especially to children who are underserved. In other words, parents' income is poor, and that cannot help those children to achieve the goal. We will be happy to serve and help them. With that, I think if there is no other business, I would ask Ashokji to extend vote of thanks to everybody.
Thank you, Jitu Saab. We always call in our language connecting the dots. You have been a great, great supporter in this process in our field, health, safety, environment field. But today you made the attempt to connect the dots from the Portugal to the India to the Kuwait and the Arizona and other places. And this has been a really wonderful gathering today. And it's only the beginning of our gathering. And Dr. Pedro, you presented so many phases. We wish you all the best for the phases, and we are always with you in that process. And it's amazing to know your commitment, I can say. So thank you for that, for attending today and presenting. I will also connect with my Brazilian friends so that you can also interact with them. And Dr. Mihir, of course, it was very nice to see so much work is done by the Eklavya Sanskrit, institute, so much systematically, in so much of, even in Kuwait, there are many people learn Sanskrit online, but I never attempted because we are so busy with already so many activities are there. But it's always good to learn from your institute, and it's very nice. Dr. Rami said, Vasudhaika Kutumbakam. That's exactly what we do. Even in health, safety, environment field also, we always say that should take care of everyone. Everyone should go back to the home safely. That's amazing to know from both of you. And as I was telling that we did about 29th outreach sessions under the J&AGHF HSC Foundation. First time Dr. Bharati attended by name Bharati. So thank you, madam, for your commitment to going to India for 8 months and learning Sanskrit and going back to US and still continuing the propagation of the Sanskrit language and Indian ancient culture. Which is amazing, amazing. It's really appreciate your commitment, truly appreciated. And of course, Dr. Pravin is always with us. Every time we take any initiative, Jitu Saab says, count Mr. Pravin into account. So he's always there with us to extend his helping hand. And it's only the beginning, I can say, from our all association today. we will continue to connect on the emails, and as well as if required, we can also have more meetings like this. And with that, it's almost 90 minutes, 2 minutes to the 90 minutes. So it has been a wonderful beginning, Jitu Saab, and thank you so much for making this happen. Again, the credit goes to you, Jitu Saab. Yes.
Thank you, Ashokji. That was wonderfully summarized, and extended our gratitude to all on this call. The recorded version will be shared with all on this call also, including Dr. Amy, who we do not have email, but it would be nice if you can share your email ID with us also. But thank you. Take care. Be safe wherever you are, and keep moving forward. Thank you.
Dhanyavad. Thank you.
Dhanyavad.
Thank you.
Dhanyavad. Dhanyavad.
Swagatam.
Namaskaram.
Yes.